Henry Nouwen paraphrased Jesus' words in his book, The Only Necessary Thing. Jesus said, "Live ecstatically. Move out of that place of death and toward life, because I am the God who is living. Wherever I am, there is life, there is change, there is growth, there is increase and blossoming and something new. I am going to make everything new." My guest has discovered the adventure of faith. I knew that in 2005, the McIntosh family had been called out of Kennedy Road Tabernacle in Brampton, Ontario, where Peter was serving as senior pastor. What I didn't realize as I was preparing for this interview was that I was reading their story. Welcome home, Sandra.
Thank you.
This is one of those epiphanies. I connected the dots a little later than some. I knew you'd gone to Asia. I'm reading this fascinating journey, and I can't tell you how excited I was that I was going to be seeing you today. You're not in Canada for long.
No, just 2.5 weeks.
Wow. Tell us first what happened in your everyday ministry life right here in Brampton.
Well, my husband was a senior pastor of the church, and we were there for about 10 years. And I was the young adult pastor in the last couple of years that we were at KRT. And really our whole focus for the church was people coming alive in Christ and bringing the greatest news ever to our city. So we actually loved the church, we loved Brampton, we loved Canada, we loved being here, but God had another plan.
And you confess to feeling, maybe is stuck too big a word, I don't want to exaggerate, but you were ready for something more. God was preparing you for this.
Yes, what really happened maybe in the 2 years before we left is we were so focused on seeing people come to Christ in our own community, in our own country. But the Lord started to speak to us, and He was saying, there's a whole world out there that doesn't know me. And we really felt Him saying to us, as soon as we would resign, there would be a list of people who were as capable or better qualified to be the senior pastor of that church, but there wasn't like a lineup of people wanting to go to the rest of the world, and we just couldn't escape it. It was like God was saying, you have to go, you have to go. There are other people who can do your job, you have to go. So we did.
How did Thailand come to the top?
Well, my husband is the regional director for the PAOC for Southeast Asia.
That's Pentecostal Assemblies of Canada.
That's right. And 4 years ago, the majority of our missionary force was in Thailand, 7 out of 9. And the region spans between India and Japan.
So that's big.
Yeah, so Thailand, 2 billion people. So Thailand was central and where the most of our missionary families were. So the travel would be a lot less. It was quite an inexpensive place to live. So we chose Thailand because it was central to all the other countries around us, and the most of the families were there. Things have changed quite a bit. We have 35 families now, spread from India to Japan, but Thailand is still central and really the best place for us to be located.
Now, you are a family. How many of you?
Just 3 of us. Our daughter actually went to grade 10, 11, and 12 in Bangkok, and she's now in Bible College in Australia and just finishing her first year. So yeah, the 3 of us moved there.
Something gripped your heart right away, and I'm sure this is big reason why God called you there.
Yes, I work with a ministry called Nightlight. And
Not to be confused with our middle of the night program. You're hearing those words again.
And it's a ministry that is a business as mission that rescues women out of the sex industry. So we actually are a company that makes jewelry, and we go into the bars twice a week and befriend the women in the sex industry in Bangkok. And as we get to know them and love them, we ask them if they would like to be out of the sex industry and work at our company making jewelry. So we actually right now have 86 women who were formerly in the sex industry working with our company, and we have about 50% of them have accepted Jesus. And we also offer them all kinds of classes. They are working, making the jewelry, but we have classes, 24 classes are offered all week long. They're taught English, growing in Christ, Jesus 101.
Computer skills,
managing your finances, piano, guitar, and it's just incredible to see how their lives change. Like for the first time in their lives, they feel like they are valuable human beings, and it's just really amazing to watch.
You're giving them a life.
Yeah.
Literally.
And actually the jewelry sales, that changes a woman's life. If you purchase a piece of jewelry, you are bringing a woman out of prostitution and changing her life. It's not going to some corporation, it's a person's life, a story, and you've broken probably a cycle for many generations to come of her children going into the sex industry. So it's fantastic.
Some statistics, 2 billion people
in Southeast Asia.
Southeast Asia, less than 1% are Christian.
That's correct, yeah.
And an estimated 300,000 in the sex industry?
Yes, that's the low estimate. They estimate up to 2 million in the sex industry.
And it's a very horrifically diverse industry.
It is. It is. There's many forms of prostitution. There are the Thai women, which we employ, and they are in prostitution in beer bars. So there's bars all over Bangkok where women are sitting at a table and those women are prostitutes. There are go-go bars where women are dancing on a stage. There are karaoke bars. There are massage parlors where the women are also prostitutes. There are show bars, which are absolutely horrific. Things go on there where it's sex shows on stage. There are streetwalkers. We also have trafficked women from up to 20 different countries who are sold as slaves into prostitution from Africa, Central Asia.
And the age range, 15 to 50?
Yes, it is. It is. The women who are 50 are basically in massage parlors, and it's just huge. And the prostitutes that we deal with are there for foreign men. So people from all over North America, Europe, Australia, South Korea, Japan, the countries that are wealthy, those men come to Thailand for the sex industry and actually bring $1.2 billion US annually to Thailand because of that.
You wonder how long God will hold his breath on this one, don't you?
It's unbelievable, and it's just many broken women and many broken men coming there to do that. I've actually met men from Canada sitting in a bar and had a conversation with a man from British Columbia who is almost 70 years old.
And he has come for that purpose?
Yes, I was sitting in a bar and he came and sat right beside me. There was just this little seat beside me. And he came and he looked at me and he said, "I feel much safer with you in here." And I said, "Oh, really?" Because I thought it was an unusual statement to make. And I said, "So why are you here, sir?" And he said, "Oh, I just came to see the nightlife in Bangkok." And I said, "And I noticed that you're married," because he had a wedding ring on. And he said, "Yes, my wife is coming tomorrow." And I said, "Well, it's interesting that you came tonight without her." And he said, "Oh, what harm can I do? I just came to look." And I said, "Well, every man I talk to really says that." And he said, "Well, what are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, I work with an organization that believes women are valuable and rescues women out of prostitution." And he went silent. And then he gushed his life story to me for about 45 minutes. And I really saw the heart of that man. He found himself in a place that he didn't really think through. And normally, when you think of men like this, you think horrible, not valuing women, perverts. But this guy really was in a place he didn't think through. And as I spoke to him, at the end of the conversation, he said to me, "Well, you've completely ruined my evening." And I went, "Yay!" And he just shook my hand and laughed and left. So there are countless men like him with that kind of story. And it's just kind of neat to be able to pour into their lives as well.
This is a beautiful outcome of your being light in a dark place. But I think we're all aware you are threatening some pretty big business. And I wonder how dangerous it is, first to be going into these bars, but secondly, to be challenging a major stronghold. There are going to be people who are very upset that you're messing up their system.
Well, for the most part, I don't know if it's because we just are not even concerned or naive, but when it comes to the bars, none of us actually feel afraid. We just feel like we're taking back, taking out of the devil's territory. The darkness is not going to come to the light. The light has to go to the darkness. And it's actually a horrible, horrible place to be. And truthfully, I hate being in those bars. It feels awful. I've seen everything but sex in front of my eyes. But you get the sense that this is what Jesus would do, and you're doing the right thing, and I don't feel afraid. The team doesn't really feel afraid because we're doing the right thing, and we have the protection of the Lord, and it's so worth it. It's so worth being there. And sometimes, strangely enough, the bar owners will say to us, "We know what you do. Come in.